hospital bed, you know, if you succumb to it and get comfortable, be it by drug or by giving up or just wallowing in your misery, then ultimately you just become a piece of the hospital, which is not good. I mean, you're on the wrong path. You need to be like engaged on keep your mind sharp, where you want to be going for coffee, and to go out and have coffee by yourself, that means you got to get off your duff and get it done. So one of the motivating factors, what actually got me up and moving, was because when we're in bed and we don't move around much, the medical profession has this great big fear of you getting blood clots. I mean, vocabulary again. When you're stuck in bed and you don't move around much, your circulation is poor, which does bring about a risk that you'll develop blood clots by just sitting around. So they give you these shots of epinephrine. It's an anticoagulant. My first week or 2 weeks in GF Strong, when I looked at my stomach, because that's where they shoot it into your fat. Yeah, well, I'm not a very skinny guy, although I did drop a ton of weight at my worst time. When you look down at your tummy and you see all these black splotches, like almost bruised, and they're sore, and you have to take a needle twice a day, and they keep popping it in sometimes in your stomach or your butt or wherever else they can find some fat. And you look at yourself for those spots, and they're not cool. And I don't like needles, anyways. And I didn't like drugs. I started out with like this barrage. Like these nurses would come to me with like vials full of pills, red ones and pink ones and whatever, blue ones. I don't know. Like I can remember like getting cocky one day and trying to be a little bit funny. So I took the whole container. It's like one of those, those ketchup containers you get at McDonald's, those little plastic little cup things there where you put your ketchup in. Yeah, well, mine was like heaping full of pills. So again, the one day I grabbed it all, I poured it all into my mouth, and I tried to chug back with a glass of water, of course. I almost like died as I choked on everything and spit all, I almost got sick. It was whatever. It was pretty funny, but I wasn't laughing at the time. I was like choking to death. I would ask the nurses that would come by, like, can I stop taking any one of these drugs? I mean, they were like vials of, I don't know, I don't even know what half the stuff was. So I'd sit there, because we were all bored quite often. Hey nurse, like, how's it going, blah, 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 and you'd stop into a little chat, and the odd time you could like have them sit around or talk to you for a few minutes. And so you'd be sitting there with this vial full of pills, and you're going like, so what's this one for? And she'd give you an explanation, and you'd go like, do I need to take it? And of course the answer was, see, they don't, or they can't. They're not allowed to say what you should and what you shouldn't take. They have to tell you whatever the doc gives you, you have to consume. So, you play around with it, and you go like, well, what if I don't take this one? Will it make me sick, or am I going to die? And they'd sit there going like, now Mac, like treat me like a little kid. You have to take it. I mean, if you have issues with your drugs, you got to like talk it over with your doctor, and you deal with it that way. So I wasn't one to even argue with doctors to a fair degree. I mean, you just do what you're told, and you pray to God that they're doing the right thing, and everything that they do is in your best interest. And all these pills that you're taking, they're like, yeah, I guess I need to take them. I mean, who am I to know what I need and what I don't need? I mean, you don't live in hospitals, and you don't live lives where you're stuck in a bed, and when you get some explanations for what some of the stuff is, you can get the gist of why you're taking them. But as I didn't like the drugs, and I was starting to question what they were all about, and especially the shots. I hated the shots. When they came around, I was like, I was freaked. I hated it. Some nurses they didn't have good technique, let's say. When they shoved it in, you felt it. When they squeezed or whatever the syringe and to push it in you, some of them just did it quickly and with no heart, and they wanted to get the heck out. So punch in, squirt it in, and leave, and whatever. I didn't like it. So I was arguing with the nurse that I didn't want to take these things anymore, and she told me to go to the doc, and you had to book an appointment so the doc would come see you. And I did. And I was like, all right, doc, I don't want this stuff anymore. What can I get rid of here? And, right away I said, these shots, I don't want them. And he sit there kind of laughing at me because I couldn't stand much, never mind walk. And his answer actually made me get up. He said that if I can get out of my bed by myself, walk the 10 or 15 feet I had to the washroom door, open the washroom door, sit myself on the toilet by myself, and then get myself back up and come back to my bed, he would agree that I get to stop taking this epinephrine. I can remember, like, the first day trying to do it. I mean, right away. I couldn't do it. I was holding my cane, and with my left arm, of course, because that's the only one that worked well. And you're trying to drag your right leg and your right arm with you, using your left side, and your right leg, all you're doing is hoping that the knee just locks. So you're swinging the leg over, you're trying to push the knee straight, and then with the help of your cane and so on, shuffle your weight from one foot to the other quickly, and then re-engage the good arm, and then good leg, and swing the other one over again. And so it's like you're using a peg leg kind of deal. But you'll do whatever you have to get where you got to go. So the second day, by the end of the day, I was doing it. Now I couldn't do much else, like wipe up or do anything, but I can get myself to the toilet. And it was very challenging, and there were times where I'm sitting on the toilet, even though there's a bar to grab so that you can support yourself, and you'd start leaning, like your body would be straight up, and then all of a sudden you'd be like, your body would start like leaning over, and then you try and catch yourself, and if you missed, you'd keep leaning, and then you'd pick up speed to the point where you were going to like flop over onto the floor. Now, bathrooms for handicapped people are not the cleanest places to be lying on the floor. I mean, you got to be pretty happy if it all makes it into the toilet, if you know what I mean. What I'm saying. I mean, it's kind of a hit and miss game, and we're not just talking about the pee part either. It's if you're sharing a room with your buddy, in my case, I was sharing a room with one person, and the bathroom was an adjoining bathroom to two different rooms. So we also shared the bathroom with yet two other people. So 4 of us handicapped people are using the same bathroom. And so when you got in there, you had to lock both doors, and of course pray that you didn't like have an accident in there where, you know, you're unable to help yourself. Although there were pull strings or whatever, and so if you pulled it, it would set off an alarm, and the nurses would come, and I guess they had keys to get in. But the floor is pretty gross, man. I mean, it's gross. When the people came in there, the sanitarium people, or not sanitarium, whatever, the Sani people would come in there and clean the floor. You didn't see him going in there with a scrub brush, let's just say. It was more like a mop with a, the mop bucket with water. So if there was a mess down there, you just got like pushed around and whatever. I mean, the floors were not. They used white tiles in there, little white tiles, and the tiles weren't white anymore. They had color, if you chemicals and who knows whatever else. So toilet seats are gross, and like I say, body stuff everywhere. And, you're afraid to touch things, but you have no choice because when one side doesn't work and one side does, you're just doing whatever you got to do. Just make sure you don't fall in the toilet or fall over out of the toilet or bust your head. I mean, you're trying to learn how to be independent, and I'm kind of tired at having nurses wipe my butt or the other end or whatever. I didn't find that whole experience very very exciting. You know what I mean? What's exciting about somebody wiping your butt? I mean, there's nothing to it. Well, at least it was not exciting for me. I guess there were other people that might have thought so. I didn't. I wanted to say something, but I forgot. I'm actually going to put off the Sierra for a second. I'm going to recompose. Hang on.